Did we lose Pamela?
Sorry, I was muted. You'd think I'd know how to not do that by now.
That's okay.
Good grief. Kevin Allen. Kevin has been in the automotive repair industry for over 35 years. 11 years ago, he made the decision to take all of his experiences from running shops to helping shop owners run theirs. His passion, dedication, and commitment to helping shop owners take control of their lives and businesses as a certified executive coach for ATI has made him a popular go-to coach. Kevin has recently added a certificate in Profit First, which added an additional layer to his coaching and ability to help shop owners get to the next level and achieve the life and business they have always wanted. So thank you for being here with us today, Kevin.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you folks having me here. I know everybody has busy lives and going in a million different directions, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you folks from ASA Northwest. So, all right, are we ready to go?
We are.
Okay, so I'll share my screen here with you. I think you're gonna have to give me the ability maybe to share it.
Did you hit the share button there, Kevin?
I have. Let's see here. Let me try this.
There you go.
Okay, can we see that now? Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
All right, good. So today we're just going to cover something that's really near and dear to me and a lot of my members that I deal with on a weekly basis here, and that's just employee engagement. And I don't want to just talk to you about the why, but I also want to speak to you about the how. So we'll just jump right in here and kind of get going with that. And if you have any questions along the way, please type them in the chat. We can answer them then, or if you have questions at the end, I've got some time allotted at the end there too. So we can do it both ways. So the first thing I want to really do with you is just explain the difference between culture and engagement, because I think that these two things sometimes get tangled up together, and it's often confused as to, to what's what. So first we'll go with culture. So culture is beliefs. So, what is the business all about? Why is it there? It's really, what is your why? What are we there to accomplish? What do we get out of bed every day to come?
From Summit, right?
Yeah. Okay. Are you with me? I heard some noise in the background there.
Yeah, we're good. Keep going.
Okay, got you covered. Okay. All right. Core values. Here at ATI, we have the ATI fundamentals. We have the 24 fundamentals that we practice, weekly, monthly. It's just a part of our fabric of our culture here. So that's what that core values are. Behaviors. The behaviors of your employee identify the culture in your shop. The behaviors of, senior management, and that trickle all the way down. Are we emulating the behaviors that we really want our employees to, show every day? So that's part of your culture. And really what culture boils down to is just the way that things are done around here. This is the way we do things. This is your culture. So whether you know it or not, every organization, family, business, it has a culture. Sometimes it's just not identified and we don't know it. Now, on the other hand, engagement is this. It's the level of the employee's commitment to the organization and their work. How dedicated and committed are they to the organization or to the company? And basically, engagement boils down to this one question. What does it feel like to work here? And we're going to answer that question as we go through here the next 25 minutes or so together. So first, let's talk about the why. What employee engagement delivers and why it's important. So we just got some statistics here for you. So one of the things is increased productivity. We all want that. It's a challenge in all shops these days with productivity. That's just an increased demand. How productive are we as a group? So engaged employees are more productive in their work and they're more passionate about it. More engaged employees also helps you as the business owner develop more loyal employees. So the more that you can engage with them and keep them engaged in their work and with each other, the more loyal that they'll become to you, especially if you're taking an interest in them. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Decreased turnover in this day and age, and in this field that we're in with this skilled trade, turnover is a big issue. Really good people are hard to find, much less just people, period. In fact, right now there are more there are more jobs than people. So especially in skilled trade, it makes it just really difficult. So, and keeping the ones we engaged will help decrease turnover. It's no secret that more engaged employees, deliver a higher level of customer service. I mean, think about the last time you were at a restaurant and just had overwhelming service, or you were at your local hardware store and somebody just came out and swooped out to help you. Those are engaged employees and really into what they're doing. And there's a reason for that. That's good management there. Better teamwork. You know, we always want to make sure that the team is cohesive and working together. And the more engaged employees, they're just better united, more united as a team, okay? And then more discretionary effort. Coming to work anymore and just doing your job, which was what most people do, much less go above and beyond. So the teams that are more engaged in their work and efforts display more discretionary effort. And then lastly, for you as the business owner, the highly engaged teams, the more productive teams, the ones that work together, provide better service, all of these things and more discretionary effort will lead to increased profits for you there. Here's just some statistics. I pulled off a few polls off Google. And more to the why, is employee engagement important? 41% of employees felt that they know what their company stands for. And that's something we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes, because that's just staggering to me. They don't know why they come to work other than just a paycheck. They don't know what the company is about. 70% of American employees are disengaged in their work. So 7 out of 10 people are not thoroughly engaged like they should be. And we're going to have a chance to change that today. 51% of managers, they're checked out. They're not even with us anymore. And they're leading these 70% of your disengaged. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can get all of these folks on the same page and moving in the same direction. Again, why engagement is so important. 41% lower absenteeism. We talk about comebacks all the time, right? And we have a little bit of that here and there. More engaged employees are less likely to have any quality incidents. 24% less turnover in higher turnover organizations, and 59% lower turnover in low turnover organizations. 10% higher customer metrics. I mean, who out there would not want to have the ability to be able to raise their CSI score by 10 points, or their Google from a 4.3 to a 4.9, or what have you? So more engaged employees deliver higher customer metrics. You folks out there, you do dangerous work. I mean, pulling wheels off cars and doing brakes and moving, parts and pieces that move when the car's running 70 miles an hour, that's dangerous stuff. So the people that are more engaged in their work have fewer safety incidents. So this is the importance of engagement as well. Engaged teams deliver 20% higher sales. We would all who would like to have a 20% sales increase this next 2021? I think we'd all love to have that, right? And then we'd also like to be 21% higher in our profitability. So engaged teams deliver all of these things. Oops, let's see here. That was evidently the wrong button. Okay, there we go. So I put together this little statistic just to show, the actual cost of a lost technician.
We lost your screen, Kevin.
Yeah, I can see that. Hang on one sec here. I'm not sure what happened. Bear with me one sec. Okay, you with me again now? I think you can see that.
Back.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Again, rookie PowerPointer over here, right? This is little enough to be dangerous. So actual cost of a lost technician. So this again, why is employee engagement so important? Estimates range from $10,000 to $5,000 to include, from writing up job descriptions to onboarding and everything in between. And I just put together this stat just based off bingo numbers. But if you're at $100 an hour labor, considering that you're 50 parts, 50% labor, that you would have an average lost revenue of about $35,000 a month with a loss of one technician. And if you can hold around a 50% gross profit, that's $7K a month to your bottom line, or $84,000 in a year. So that $84,000 in net operating profit to your bottom line, that's all the reason right there, if nothing else, through this whole presentation to make sure that we have the most engaged employees out there, right? Techs are hard to find. Love and engage the ones you have. So now we talked about the why and why it's important and what that looks like. So now let's just discuss the how. So these four items here, I picked these four as the 4 simple steps for a couple of reasons. One, I've had the chance to review probably several hundred, maybe a little bit more than that, employee engagement surveys here over the last year and a half. And these 4 metrics here consistently come back as the biggest opportunity for almost every single shop as their lowest scoring metrics within the surveys, okay? So we're gonna pick these 4 today. We're gonna talk about these. We'll go through them one by one, and I'll discuss with, how to implement this. So the very first one we're gonna look at is define your company's vision and mission statement. This one is always the most startling to me. And it's always the most startling to me because of this fact. If I'll ask 10 shop owners, hey, tell me what your company's vision and mission statement is. 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, can't tell me. They don't know. Or it's something they wrote down on a piece of paper when they started their business years ago. So my point here is, if we don't know what the vision of our company is and the mission, and we'll talk about this in a second, what those 2 things mean. If we can't define that and we don't know it, how in the world could we expect our employees to be engaged in what we're trying to accomplish here? So a good vision and mission statement should define the following. Keep in mind that years ago, it was acceptable, just you would have a vision statement and you would have a mission statement. But I think that through all of the reading and the research and the training that I've gone through here in the last few years, I think it's okay to just kind of merge those 2 together there. Because the vision equals, where and what. So where we're going, what we do, really why we get out of bed in the morning. That's what the vision is. And the mission equals the how. How are we going to accomplish this vision? Okay. Some things to help you to, determine what your vision or mission should be. What does the company do for its external customers? So you're paying customers. What do we do for them? What's so special about our product? What does the company do for your internal customers or your employees? How are they involved in this? What do we do for them? What is our mission as far as they're concerned? And if you do choose to do so, you can also even include in there, what the company does for its owners. Maybe if the company makes money, it's philanthropy, it's whatever else that you want it to be. So this is a good way to help you define what your mission or vision statement should look like, okay? I get this all the time. I teach this in group coaching with a lot of clients through employee engagement and just the simple steps to get there. So the same presentation we're going through here today. And they always stumble with, where do I start? Well, the first, look, all of you out there, almost all of you, I can almost promise you, you're all perfectionists. And you don't want to roll something out until it's perfect and it's golden. But you just have to sit down with a piece of paper and just write down some bullet points. And through those bullet points, you just want to identify, what are your company's strengths? What are your company's core values? Why are we here? What is it that we're here to accomplish? What are we here? What are we here for? What are your company's key contributions? What do we contribute to the community? What do we contribute to our customers? And what do we contribute to, to whether they're internal or external? And then what are your company's goals? From that point, you just have to sit down and write it out. Now, what I would encourage you to do would be to recruit some help. You have your team members, you have your family members, ask them, what do you feel our company's vision/mission should be? And then if you collaborate with them and they help you actually put this together, you really can't go wrong. So the very first thing is, let's identify what your vision is and your mission is for the company, share it with your team, and then you'll be off to the next step. All right, any questions so far?
None so far.
All right, perfect. We'll scoot on to the next piece here. All right, number 2. So the next biggest opportunity I see through employee engagement surveys is what's called validation. It's just validating your team. Now, a lot of you do this and you don't even know you do it, and maybe some of you don't, because really a lot of us we weren't brought up this way when we first started working. You know, the privilege for us was, you know, we got to come to work and we get a paycheck on Friday, right? That was how we were validated. Today's workforce has really changed, and we just really need to recognize that and make sure that we're doing a really good job of validating. So what is validation? It's very simple. Validation is the acknowledgement of a person's individual existence and their value as a human being. So, you know, we treat people as numbers a lot sometimes, because this is a production-based business and we do have to have numbers and achieve those. But people want to be treated as people. They want to be treated as a human being and not so much just a number or a statistic. So how do we do that? Validation. So validation should be positive. You know, it has to be positive. It cannot be negative. It needs to be a positive delivery to your employees. And it needs to happen often. So validation, we say, should really occur daily. And we'll go over some examples of what validation looks like here in just a second, but it should occur often, pretty much daily. It needs to be genuine. It has to come from the heart. You know, if it's just forced or made up, then people can read through that, and they certainly understand that you're not really being genuine. Habitual, something we want to make sure that, you know, we don't start the practice and then stop the practice. It needs to be something that happens every day. And then relational, you know, how can we relate to our people? If our people really know that we do truly care about them and their work, their life outside of work, they will become more engaged. They will become more loyal and valuable to you. And again, to do it daily. If you guys listen to any of Chubby's stuff, I'm sure that some of you may have heard, one of the things that he does to make sure that he does his validations every day is he puts a number of dimes in his left pocket, right? And this is how he remembers. Once he gives validation or recognition to somebody, he moves it from one pocket to the other. And at the end of the day, those dimes better be over there, or he knows he really hasn't done, you know, what he should have. So examples of validation questions would be, you know, how was your time with the family last night at the circus? How was the cookout with your baseball team this weekend? What do you have planned for vacation? What can I do to help you this week? Those are just some examples of validation, showing that you really care about your people. Again, out of the 4 biggest opportunities on employee engagement surveys that I see, this is probably number 2. The first one is mission. They don't know where the company's going. The second is validation. They just don't feel appreciated for the work that they produce. So validation will help bring that all together. Okay, number 3 is recognition. This is a big one. People do not feel recognized at work. They just don't. And recognition is defined as this. Whether done in person, electronically, or in writing, recognition is a positive expression of gratitude about a job well done, expectations exceeded, or the need to better align specific behaviors with achievement of personal, team, or corporate objectives. So it's not all just about work. It's about, you can recognize people for, you know, outside things, and we'll talk about those. And this quote is through Don Ream from E3 Solutions, who actually put together our entire employee recognition survey product here that we have. The purpose of recognition programs. So here's the top 5 reasons that people should be recognized. One is tenure. Now, these aren't in any specific order, I don't think. Well, they are as far as percentages goes, but you know, this may you know, come to you in different levels. But tenure. I recently had a member of mine say to me, Kevin, Sam's worked here for 55 years. He retires next week. Should I do something for him? I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, the man's gave you 55 years of his life. Of course we should. We do a very good job of that here where we work, where we do celebrate tenure. In fact, on my walls here, there's a 1-year tenure plaque over there, a 5-year one below that, and my tenure when you can't see it, but it's behind me. So we do celebrate tenure. 1 year, 5-year, 10-year, that's a big deal. Performance. Recognize people for performance. We have Employee of the Month. You have, geez, hey, you hit your productivity level last week at 90%. There's a reason to celebrate. Our customer service scores are now, you know, 95 percentile instead of 90 percentile. Great job on moving the metrics there. So Performance is something certainly we want to make sure we're recognizing. Now, recognition should be done weekly. Validations daily, recognition is weekly. Life celebrations. I see these on Facebook, sometimes from shops where we celebrate birthdays. Somebody earlier before we got started here had mentioned, I think it was Jeff mentioned, hey, send us, we'd love to hear about you just had another grandchild and celebrate that stuff. So those types of things there are life celebrations. I'm having a grandchild, my daughter's getting married, my kid graduated, college, he's off to get his doctorate or his master's or whatever. Those are special celebrations that people thrive for these days. They really like those. Retirement, talked about the example of that here a few minutes ago. Wellness initiatives. Hey, great job on quitting smoking. Hey, you lost 5 pounds, or hey, you've achieved a weight goal, or what have you, as far as wellness goes. So these are 5 ideas just to get you started with, hey, how can I better recognize my team members as we move forward? So it should be done weekly. Here's just some recognition examples. Hey, I won't read through all these. I'll let you look at them, but you did a fantastic job this week leading the team past the sales goal. I was very impressed with the way you handled that major problem this week. I love the way you connect with the team. They love to follow your lead. Our customers love the way you answer the phone. It's very refreshing. Please keep up the great job. So these are just very simple recognition examples. Okay. Any questions thus far? We got anything in the chat box there, Mr. Jeff? Are we good?
We're all good there.
Okay. So we've covered the first 3. We're going to jump to the last one here, and then we can just kind of recap everything. So the first one was, having your vision and mission statement laid out. Second was validating your team, and we just covered recognizing your team. Now we're going to talk about and giving feedback. This is consistently the biggest opportunity that I see in every single employee engagement survey that I've ever had a chance to look at. And the question is laid out. I meet with my supervisor to discuss my progress in at least 1 meeting per month. And that is always the lowest scoring item. So what is feedback? Feedback is a one-on-one meeting with your team members about their performance, behavior, and attitude. This discussion will entail successes as well as opportunities. And you can see that, through this presentation so far, I don't think I've used the word negative. I hope I haven't, but because we don't use that. We use the word opportunity. It's the way to keep it positive, because once you start talking negatively to someone, there's never any way you're ever going to get them to engage. So we want to keep it to the positive the best we can, so we use that word opportunity. Now, frequency of your feedback meetings, they're going to vary dependent upon where you are. Some of you have been doing these, and maybe you do them monthly. Some of you, maybe you just need to get started and you got to do once a week or once every other week. But once you get it rolling and get involved and get going into it, once a month should be sufficient. So why give feedback? Through E3 Solutions and our engagement survey that we have, I've learned that the human brain asks itself 2 questions repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again. The first one is, how am I doing? And the second one's, what's next? And just to kind of give you just a little bit of a vision of how that plays into your daily life, think about when you're driving home this afternoon or when you're driving your car next. You're constantly looking in the rearview mirror, you're looking in your side view mirrors, and you're looking out the windshield. You're looking out the rearview mirror, I guess, hopefully to make sure you haven't hit a mailbox or done some damage behind you or what's coming up behind you. You're looking at your side view mirrors to see what's going on around you, and you're looking at the windshield to see what's coming at you next. So that's just a good example of, what the human brain does. So your employees are asking the same questions to themselves all the time. Their brain is, how am I doing and what's next? And if we don't give them feedback, well, there's no answer to these questions. And we're just kind of leaving them in limbo, and you're just doing them a disservice by not doing it. So put together the cycle of giving feedback so you kind of know. Lots of folks have trouble with one-on-ones because they just don't know where to start. So hopefully this chart will help you kind of assemble that in your mind a little bit and give you some guidance on how to move this going forward. But the very first thing is just going to collect feedback. So before your meeting, your one-on-one with your person or your team member, you just want to get a couple of ideas, a couple of topics that you feel are pertinent to their growth and development. Have a plan, okay? The second thing you're going to want to do with that is analyze. Discuss the topics with your team member and name out successes and opportunities. One of the things we like to say around here is, hey, once you're successful at this, what is that going to look like? How are we going to know next week that you did a really great job? What will it look like? And then also make sure that we're using open-ended questions. Don't just talk to your team, ask them questions. Use the words what and how, and stay away from the yes and no questions. Share your insights, discuss and agree upon a plan to continue success and improve on the listed opportunities. So it's great to have a plan to talk about things and to imagine what it would look like if you're successful, or when you're successful, we should say, and then share your insights and what the plan is going to look like to move forward with. Improve. We can't just give people stuff to work on. We have to work with them. So work with your team member on the agreed upon action plan. And here's where you can actually ask those open-ended questions. What do you need for me to succeed? How can I best help you? So the words what and how will open up a dialogue with your team member there to have them let you know what they need from you to get to where they want to go. Measure results. You guys are smart business owners, and ladies and gentlemen, all of you are smart. You know that if we don't measure something, we really can't manage it. So we have to have some key metrics in place there to be able to determine whether we lifted that opportunity up or did it stay in the same place, okay? So set up some agreed metrics, and this will allow you both to recognize improvement. And then the cycle just repeats itself. The next meeting, you just do the same thing. When you reconvene, you talk about what we're working on here the last week, 2, 3, or 4, and then it just this cycle just repeats itself. Okay. So what we've hopefully learned so far: define your company's mission/vision. If you haven't done that, I plead with you to do it. Put it in writing, put it on a plaque, hang it on the wall. You should share that mission and vision with your team every time you get together, whether it's for a celebration or a meeting or what have you. Don't lose sight of that. It's their why. It's why we get out of bed every day. Validate daily. Put the dimes in your pocket. If you have a memory issue like me, put the dimes in your pocket. Switch them from your left pocket to your right pocket every time that you validate someone for the day. It'll make you a better person too. Showing that you care about people and you want to help grow and develop and move them forward. Recognize weekly. We talked about some recognition examples. Hey, if you need to, go stalk other business Facebook pages. And a lot of these folks do a really great job by celebrating birthdays, and they'll do it in video, pictures, or what have you. But recognition is something that's highly touted by the workforce today. Maybe not so much when we came through, but today they demand it. They really need it. And then provide feedback at least monthly. If you don't, you're going to leave that question in your people's mind about how am I doing and what's next. So there's the 4 secrets to employee engagement and how to bring them to the level that you need, and to keep your people happy, keep them feeling good about the place that they work. And then the last piece, now get out there and get it done. You're going to do amazing stuff with it. All right, that's what I got. Questions? Comments?
Well, Kevin, I would like to say thank you. That was a breath of fresh air. I missed a little bit of the beginning of it, but it's so nice to see teamwork, employee involvement, and that positive spin. And how do we, as business owners and, in many cases, former technicians, we have the tendency to, I think Steve Beck says it best when he says, you've got a wall that's painted perfect, but there's a little blue speck right in the center of it.
Very true.
All we can ever see is that blue speck. And
that's right.
Because we're fixers. We look to fix problems. And it's a breath of fresh air to hear us talk about embracing what is already good and how to make that good better. So, you know, I really thank you. Excellent stuff.
Well, you're very welcome. I appreciate you being here.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being on today, and I really appreciate it. And now at this time, I'd like to ask Brian to say a few words. He's our chairman of the board, and to say a few words. There's some things going on with some bylaw changes for ASA National, and I think he wants to discuss that just a little bit. And so go ahead, Brian. And
Definitely, Jeff. I appreciate that. I definitely popped in here to give everybody a quick overview on this. And, you know, everybody should have received an email that talked about the bylaws change at our national level. And, you know, what I would say to that is there's been some confusion and some concern over it, all of which are probably justified. And, you know, I would strongly encourage you to attend the meeting, to listen to the conversation. It's tomorrow, a little bit short notice at this point, but I would say if you have concern, if you have questions about what you